If there's one thing that you will learn from the tale of Edmund, aka the Coed Killer, it's that there are serial killers and there are serial killers. In his day, Edmund went from being unable to stand the sight of a chicken being slaughtered to murdering a total of 10 victims and going on to defile their bodies in unspeakable ways. Welcome back to Twisted Minds. My name is James, and today we will be looking at the case of Edmund Kemper III. Edmund Kemper III was born on December 18, 1948, in Burbank, California, to his mother, Claire Nell, and his father, retired World War II veteran Edmund Kemper Jr. At the time of his birth, Edmund weighed an astounding 13 pounds. In just a few years, he was significantly taller than his peers, and it was evident for all to see that he was a giant in the making. Considering how sensitive and intelligent Edmund was in his formative years, it is safe to say that many assumed he would grow up to be the real-life version of the big friendly giant, but they couldn't be further from the truth. Growing up, Edmund, who was the middle child of 3 children, had a seemingly normal life. His father was his hero, and the youngest all but worshipped the ground that old Kemper walked. His relationship with his mother, on the other hand, was quite strained. There was no love lost between the two, and Claire Nell preferred to shower all of her love and attention on Edmund's 2 sisters, Suzanne and Alan Kemper, turning her attention to him only when she decided he needed to be disciplined. Like most other families at the time, the Kemper family engaged in small-scale agriculture, opting to grow their own vegetables and rear their own chickens for household consumption. At the start of this venture, young Edmund spent a considerable amount of time playing with the animals, going as far as giving them names and treating them like pets. However, things took a downward turn when one fateful day, Edmund witnessed the slaughtering of 2 of the birds. The young boy was beside himself with grief, but his parents scolded him and forced him to snap out of it. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and several scoldings later, the young Edmund got over his sensitivity toward the death of animals. Unknown to his family, Edmund's decision to toughen up would eventually spell doom for 6 young women and 4 other unsuspecting victims. After overcoming his sensitivity, Edmund began to have dark fantasies. The sensitive young boy was slowly growing into a seemingly sadistic preteen. While Edmund entertained his demons in his young mind, trouble was brewing in real life, and his parents divorced when he was only 9 years old. Following the divorce, Edmund was forced to stay with his mother, who decided she wanted a fresh start and moved him and his siblings to Helena, Montana. Living with his mother in his father's absence turned out to be a living hell. The youngster was constantly at odds with his mother, who, according to him, was a neurotic, domineering alcoholic who took every opportunity to abuse him, talk down on him, and cause emotional distress. Thanks to his mother's behavior, Edmund's frustration began to build up, and he decided to take his growing dark side for a spin. He began mutilating his sister's dolls, and he
decided to take his new dark side out for a spin. Like it's some new frickin' Dodge Stratus that he just bought. Like, first of all, his dad was his hero. His dad doesn't look like he should be anybody's hero, so it's like no wonder he fucking turned out to be a serial killer. I mean, look at that guy. Like, holy crap, that's your hero. It's like, fuck, you know, got a rocky upbringing. Just kidding. Kind of. But yeah, it's like, he went from not wanting to watch animals get hurt to like doing it himself in like weird ways. Which is like, people really can change, I guess, you know? It's like, fuck, was that all like an act? Because I'm pretty sure like good people like don't just turn sour. Like, was he always sour? Was it just waiting to like mature? Like, what happened there? Like how did they make him get over his like? You gotta wonder what they did to make him get over like his sensitivity. They called it his sensitivity to watching animals getting killed. They're like, quit being a pussy. We live on a farm. We kill animals. Get over it. And he's like, no, but it's so fucked up. There's like, shut up. It says, it uses the word scolded. It says they scolded him until he got over his sensitivity. What did they do? Like, a Clockwork Orange him and like pry his eyes open and like watch him, like a bunch of shit just get murdered? Like, just over and over and over and over again until he's just like super used to it. Like, no wonder. Like, they scolded him until he got over his sensitivity. It's like, oops, we scalded him too much and now he's murdering people. It kind of seems like it's like, oh, did you spark something in him? It's like, you mean to tell me that he was like a nice, sensitive, like, normal, non-murdering person? And then you scolded the sensitivity out of him and oops, now he's a serial killer? What did you do to him? What did you scold him with? Whatever, dude. Continue.
Graduated into animal cruelty.
Graduated into animal cruelty. Like it's a class.
Going as far as killing the Kemper family cat. To put that into perspective, Edmund buried the cat alive, waited a few
It
hours
doesn't put it in perspective, it just gives us more details. But continue.
for it to die, then dug up the dead cat, cut off its head, and hung it up on a spike, making his first trophy.
Talk about like a total 360. Like, oh, I don't want to kill chickens.
As the years passed, Clarnell grew more hostile toward her son. She blamed him for all that his father did to her, and as such, she constantly mocked him for being as tall as he was and declared that he would never be loved. She even subjected him to sleeping on a tiny mattress in the basement, while his sisters were given bedrooms upstairs, claiming that she was afraid of what he would do to his sisters.
That might have actually been valid, though.
5 years after the divorce, Edmund could no longer put up with his mother's mistreatment, so at age 14, he left home in search of his father. After a fruitful search, the teenager was reunited with his father, who had moved to Van Nuys, California, and remarried. Sadly, the father-son reunion was short-lived, and the older Kemper shipped his son off to live with his paternal grandparents on a ranch located somewhere in the mountains of North Fork, California. It was there that Edmund first gave into his murderous desires.
That's one way to say it. Chapter 1, the first taste of
For this next phase of his life, Edmund was made to live on a ranch in the middle of nowhere with his grandmother, Maud Kemper, and his grandfather, Edmund Emil Kemper. According to Edmund III, his mother and his grandmother were cut from the same cloth, with Maud having the same abusive attitude as his mother. Though he didn't quite mind his grandfather, who was a frail old man who suffered from dementia. While on the farm, Edmund was trained in the art of hunting. He learned how to use hunting rifles, and he soon busied himself hunting for various animals in the vast land surrounding the ranch.
Like people?
Through it all, his dark desires remained, but he managed to resist the urge. At least, he did until he visited his mother for the very first time in nearly 2 years. Over the years, his mother had developed a taste for pushing her son's buttons. However, this time she pressed a little too hard, and she unknowingly sent him spiraling over the edge. Upon returning to the farm after his visit to his mother's house, something in Edmund snapped.
Like I didn't kill her,
and as he sat at the kitchen table arguing with his grandmother, the argument got very heated, and young Edmund stormed off like the average 15-year-old would. What the average 15-year-old would not do, however, is return with a hunting rifle and then proceed to shoot his grandmother in the head.
His grandmother.
And that is exactly what young Kemper did. You should know, the craziness didn't end there. In fact, that was just the beginning of the fiasco. When Edmund Emil Kemper, Maud's husband, returned from his grocery store run, he had no idea what atrocity had taken place in his kitchen and was shot by his grandson in the driveway next to his car.
Oh, God. Of course.
After murdering both of his grandparents in cold blood, Edmund III decided to call his mother and tell her what he had done. Alarmed, Clarnell instructed her young son to call the police and confess to his crimes. He did just that and was soon taken into custody. When asked by authorities why he killed his grandmother, Edmund responded that he just wanted to see what it felt like to kill Grandma. And when asked about his decision to shoot his grandfather, he revealed that he didn't want his grandfather to live with the knowledge that his wife had been murdered.
Valid.
After following his mother's advice and calling the cops, Edmund was taken into custody for the first time.
For the first time?
When the time...
Stop it. Stop. What? Okay, so stop. Okay. So, doesn't he hate his mom? Or am I hallucinating again? I mean, like, that wasn't a hallucination. Like, he hates his mom. Like, what was that phone call like? He's just like, oh shit, wait, I have nobody to call. I guess I'll call that bitch. Guess that's the only person I have to call. Hey, so, I shot, those people that I live with, and then I remembered that they, make me food. So what do I do? She's like, well, call, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, no. Are you fucking serious? Yeah. She's like, well, if you're fucking serious, you call the cops on yourself, you fucking lunatic, and you go to jail for the rest of your life. But I can't talk about this. You're obviously joking. Goodbye. And he's just like, and what? He just takes her advice. I like how he just takes her advice. Because yeah, is that how is that how the shit went? He just takes her fucking. He just takes her advice. Like, oh well, I guess that is what I do. Yeah, I live at blah 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 blah. You should come arrest me. Yeah, I killed these people I live with. Yeah, I just shot these two people. Because I don't know what to do, so I guess my mom told me to call you, so I'm calling you guys. So yeah, do with that what you will. It's like, what? What? Fucking boggles my mind. Sorry, I'm tripping out on this thing because it says that my, like, hard drive or whatever is almost full. And I'm like, is it going to cut off my camera? And then I look at it, it's not almost full. So A of all, shut up. B of all, you're like making me all paranoid for nothing. It's like, fuck you, technology. Don't even fucking, God, yes, I love that. Fucking love it. Anyways, shut up. Things shouldn't fucking turn off or run out of batteries. Things shouldn't turn out of batteries, so we're good. Because that's not a thing, so. Anyways. That has to have been the phone call, like, word for word, right? So they took him to jail for the first time, which, what does that mean?
His crimes were deemed incomprehensible for a 15-year-old to commit, and he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia by court psychiatrists. Following this diagnosis, Edmund III was admitted into Atascadero State Hospital.
I gotta take a lap. Oh, Jesus Christ. Incomprehensible for a 15-year-old? Oh. I'll tell you what's incomprehensible. Their decision-making. I'll tell you what's incomprehensible. The fact that they let this crazy bitch out of jail. You know what's incomprehensible is the fact that anybody... what's incomprehensible is human beings. Is just... There's something wrong with people, I swear to God. We're doomed. We're so doomed, like, as a species. Like, people are so fucked. Like, we're already dead. And this was such a long time ago. This was like the 50s or 40s or something. I wasn't even fucking paying attention. I don't know, but this was a while ago, right? I would imagine that it was sometime in the past. It's not in the future, I think. So, but anyways, what the fuck? So, incomprehensible for... What? What does that even mean? They're like... What, did they just have, like, the whole court case and everything? And they had the trial, and they went to court, and they looked at all the evidence, and they had all the fucking everything, and then at the end of all of it, they're just like, he couldn't have done that. Nobody's debating that he did. There's, like, literally... Nobody's even debating it. It's not even, like... He's just like, yeah, I murdered these people. And they're dead, and it's like, oh, yeah, everything lines up. But nah, he's 15. He couldn't have done that. He's just being a fucking goofy teenager, you know. What? He couldn't have done that. He's 15. He just has schizophrenia. What? you have schizophrenia if you think that this person should be released. If you think it's incomprehensible for a 15-year-old to murder somebody, and it's like, oh, he's too young. You know, he's not mentally there enough. His words were, I kind of just wanted to see what it'd be like to kill my grandma. That doesn't sound like somebody with schizophrenia. Somebody with schizophrenia would be like, well, they were, were going to turn me in because I found this UFO in my backyard, and these people were going to turn me in, and I was like, you can't do that. And they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I knew that they were working for the FBI, so I fucking cut their heads off. And I cut their heads off because I knew that they were zombies, and you have to cut their head off. And so I buried their heads in the backyard because I knew that even though they cut your heads off, they're still going to be alive. So I buried their heads in the backyard. It's like, you know what I mean? They don't just say, I just want to see what it would be like to kill my grandma. That's a sociopathic murderer. Or any psychiatrists or any doctors or any like analysts or the judge, like nobody like looked at this guy and just had a conversation with him and was like, no, he's a lunatic. Like, oh no, yeah, he's a lunatic. Like, was Ted Bundy before or after this? It doesn't even matter. They should fucking figure it out, you know? Because they just let him out of jail. It's like, yeah, he's got more people to go murder. Because of you. You mean to tell me that he killed his grandparents and it should have been over? But then you let a serial murderer, lunatic, back out in the streets to just begin his thing when you should have never let it begin in the first place? Because you had him dead to rights? And you just knew that he was a lunatic? It's like, why did you have to kill your grandpa then? Well, I just didn't want him to, like, be so alone, you know, because it's like, you killed your grandpa too. Yeah, and I liked him. What the fuck? It's like, you killed your grandpa too? Yeah, and I liked him. Well, then why did you kill him? Well, I didn't want him to be alone, you know, and I killed his wife, so, you know, him living with his wife had been murdered. I mean, that's kind of fucked up. Might as well just kill him too. Because, you know, I'm already in it, so I'll just fuck him, you know. But I did like him. He's a good guy. It's kind of sad that happened, but yeah, he can go fuck himself. It's better than him living alone, right? That doesn't sound like somebody with schizophrenia. They're like, nah, he's obviously way too young and way too mentally fucked up, though. He's just, oh yeah, he belongs in a mental hospital. He doesn't seem articulate, or like he knows what he's doing. What? People are fucking, oh my god. It was like so easy to just get away with murder back then, or something. It was just, everything was so much easier back then, I feel like. The world was just so like, like everybody's listening to Elvis and the Beatles, and everything was in black and white, and nobody knew shit. Like, as long as you were gone by the time you, like, the cops showed up, like, you got away with everything. So it's like, you know, every song you heard was, like, the newest, best song in the world. Like, everything was just so much easier back then. And I feel like if you ever were to go back in time, you'd be able to just fuck people up so easily, like, in the past, because they were all just so dumb. You'd be, you know what I mean? It makes it seem that way, anyways. I don't even know what I'm rambling on about anymore, to be honest with you. But the point is this is unfucking believable. I literally, when I was a destructive little teenager, the court would serve it on me hardcore all the time. Even though I was like a good guy, I was just like, I'm a victim of my circumstances, please, I tried my hardest, just and they would just serve it on me and be rude, and they would just be like, we're the law, and we're gonna fucking bend you over and fuck you, because we're the government, and that's what the government just fucks you in the butt. And then and then you hear about people, it's like, you killed your grandparents? Well, that happens sometimes, you know, I understand. It's part of being 15. So, you know, we're going to send you to this hospital for a few years. You know, you're going to sit around drinking hot cocoa and just think about what you did for a few years. You should be better. You know, by the time you're 18, you'll be totally snapped out of that. And we'll let you back out. Guys, what? I'm going to go cross-eyed. My eyes are going to get stuck in the back of my head. And it's not even that big of a deal, but it just makes me want to give up, you know?
A maximum security facility
Nobody fucking cares.
for mentally ill convicts.
Nobody fucking cares.
While in
Mentally
the
ill convicts, cool, great.
Atascadero State Hospital,
At least you know that.
Edmund wasted no time in becoming a model patient and prisoner. He was so
Of
well
course.
behaved that the California
So well behaved.
The youth authority psychiatrists and the social workers disagreed with the initial diagnosis of the...
I disagree. No. He's way too nice. He doesn't have schizophrenia. You remember that thing that you shouldn't have diagnosed him with in the first place? Because he seemed so normal and just articulate. He's like, oh, I just killed my grandparents. I don't know. It seemed like something to do. We live in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to do. So the people are like, I've spent a lot of time with this guy. I don't think he has schizophrenia. I think he's just a killer. Yeah. But I think they forgot that part. They're like, no, he doesn't have schizophrenia. You guys misdiagnosed him. But they forget that he murdered these people. It's like, nah, you guys were wrong about your thing. It's like, that's a bad thing that they were wrong about that. You realize that? You realize that oh my god. You realize you're probably gonna get murdered now. Except for it's not Scooby-Doo, so
court psychiatrists. Ultimately, Big Ed, as he was often called because of his gigantic stature, was re-diagnosed with a less severe condition, a personality trait disturbance, passive-aggressive type. Edmund spent...
Are you even allowed to do that? How can... What? I think I'm gonna die. Oh my god. Oh my god, damn it, that's too funny. My god, I gotta stand up. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, he's not schizophrenic. He's just super passive aggressive. He's passive person. He's so passive aggressive. He's such a passive guy that he'll just murder his grandparents. Just murder his grandparents. Yeah. Maybe I'll just murder my grandparents. I guess I'll just murder my grandparents. I might as well murder my grandparents. Like, what is a passive? How can you go? How can a... Let's look up what the word passive means. I'm interested to see what passive aggressive means. Doesn't it mean nonviolent when he literally shot these people? I mean, I don't know. Passive aggressive behavior is a pattern of indirectly expressing negative feelings instead of openly addressing them. For example, someone who engages in passive aggressive behavior might appear to agree, perhaps even enthusiastically, with another person's request, when they don't. Isn't that everybody? No, to an extent. Indirect attacks can be more... What's that? Shit. Dolt. Goddamn. It just means you express anger or annoyance indirectly instead of directly. Like, man, I stubbed my toe, so pretty much had to murder my grandparents. It's like, I don't even know what a good example of why they would ever think that you could label a killer passive-aggressive. Passive-aggressive personality thing. Oh, you fucking dick. Examples of passive-aggressive behavior is sulking, backhanded compliments, procrastination, withdrawal, and refusal to communicate. I mean, I guess a killer could be those things, but the point is I don't think that's the right word for it. And the point is I think you should have labeled it something differently, or you should have just, you should have figured it out, is pretty much what it comes down to, is when he shot his grandparents. You probably should have known that something was wrong. I guess that's my point.
And a total of 6 years in the attachment.
You should have known that 15 is old enough. You should have seen the red flags. You know what I mean? Like, oh, as soon as you went to the mental hospital, he turned into a model citizen immediately. Voof! It should be another just giant red flag. You know what I mean? Guys, no, you guys, A of all, you have the wrong guy. But B of all, if you don't have the wrong guy, I'm a good guy. I've changed. You know, C of all, I've actually changed. I'm a different guy now. So, A of all, wasn't me. B of all, I've changed. It's not me now, even if it was before. So, I'm different. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like, oh, fuck my life, dude. Jesus Christ.
Darrow State Hospital. During this time, he endeared himself to the facility staff, joined the JCs, and even got himself a job shadowing the psychiatrists.
Of course he did.
As part of his work shadowing...
Just another fucking dual wielding these red flags out of his pocket. He's like, yes, psychology, yes, continue. Just taking notes. It's like, yeah, I'm sure he's not up to anything.
The psychiatrists, Edmund was trained to administer psychiatric tests to other inmates. As he would reveal later on after his second arrest, it was through these interactions with fellow inmates...
You know, normal people would want that power. You know, he's like, hey, I'm just a regular inmate chilling, right? But can I, like, be a psychiatrist or, like, interview or, like, just pull some weird like, just do some weird shit and pull some strings? I mean, I'm just chilling. I'm just, you know, not any real reason. You know, I'm not a serial killer. You know, I'm not even a murderer because I was not in my right mind when I killed my grandparents, apparently, or so they thought. But so, you know, I'm. It's just she's you know. So I'm just, you know, let me be a psychiatrist. They're like, yeah, Ed, you're such a great guy. Go for it. Yeah. He's like, I am a great guy. Thank you. That's why I'm doing it. So.
Inmates that he learned a few of the tricks that made him into the gruesome killer he eventually became.
Ta-da-da-da! Where he learned the tricks that made him become the killer he is today. Let's back it up. Back that ass up. And you know what? Call me Big Daddy when you back that ass up.
To other inmates.
So, no. Stop. You're a fine motherfucker. Back that ass up. So, okay.
Ultimately, Big Ed, as he was often called because of his gigantic stature, was re-diagnosed with a less severe condition, a personality trait disturbance, passive-aggressive type. Edmund spent a total of 6...
I'm a passive-aggressive type, okay? Me sitting here with this posture like, oh, say it again. That's... But I'm not sawing cats' heads off. I thought passive-aggressive was like, oh yeah, Cindy, it's cool. Yeah, wear that dress. Yeah, you look fine. Yeah, it's cool, you know. I'll just wear the same one. You know, we'll both look great. You know, you should wear that dress tomorrow. Wear it again, you know, wear that dress, you know, don't take it off. Wear that dress. You know, we'll both look great. It's like, it is, and I think the part of passive-aggressive is that it never boils into like a murdering spree, right? Like they just crumble inward and deteriorate like their health and just like hold it in and bottle it up and then one day they explode and die. Not explode like kill a bunch of people, but explode like just have a heart attack and die. Right? But, I don't know, I'm probably wrong. I'm mostly always wrong.
6 years in the Atascadero State Hospital. During this time, he endeared himself to the facility staff, joined the JCs, and even got himself a job shadowing the psychiatrists. As part of his work shadowing the psychiatrists, Edmund was trained to administer psychiatric tests to other inmates. As he would reveal later on after his second arrest, it was through these interactions with fellow inmates that he learned a few of the tricks that made him into the gruesome killer he eventually became.
He's like, so, step 1, I murdered my grandparents. Step 2, I manipulated these people with my gigantic stature, my 4-foot wiener, and my charm that just boils the fuck over. So, here I am, chilling with the giant dick, right? So I was sitting there with my 4-foot dick. Okay, in this mental hospital. And I thought, you know what I should do while I'm here in this mental hospital? I should talk to all these fucking lunatics and find out just the most useful piece of lunatic knowledge that they have. Because, you know, that guy, you know, he apparently stabbed an entire neighborhood. I want to find out how he was able to, you know, I could learn something from that guy. And he just goes to jail and just gathers all this knowledge from, he's like, alright, lunatics, tell me all the crazy shit. And he's just like writing notes. He's like, okay, gasoline, styrofoam, napalm. Okay, that's good, Johnny. That's good. I know how to make napalm now. Okay, you okay? Okay, say that thing about taking doors off hinges again. It's like, what? It's like he's just like, I swear. And then he's just like, after he fucking interviews everybody, gets all his fucking hitman fucking, after he fills out his hitman notebook and he's got all his murder knowledge, he's like, all right, so I think I've been a good enough guy, right? I interviewed all these people, which, you can just assume that helps somehow. So, but I'm a model citizen, so you should just let me out of here. I got my hitman handbook, and I'm, isn't it time for me to leave? They're like, you know what, Ed? It is. We forgot about that. Yeah, Ed, we forgot, because this is a fucking fantasy land, and Earth is a joke. So yeah, it's fucking. So yeah, continue.
Having taken out time to study the dynamics and intricacies of
I just can't believe that they thought that was normal. They're like, yeah, Ed, just interview all these people. I'm sure that he has no ulterior motives. I'm sure that he's just...
of all the tests being administered by the Atascadero State Hospital psychiatrists, Edmund was able to use his 145 IQ to manipulate his psychiatrists and convince them that he had been rehabilitated and was ready to be reintroduced into society.
I'm leaving. So, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so, can't believe it. I can't. He was able to use his 145 IQ to be able to manipulate his psychiatrist and convince him that he was rehabilitated and should be let back into society. I didn't even have to rewind it, because when he said that, I recorded it, remembered it verbatim, because it was one of the dumbest things I'd ever heard in my life. And it's actually burned into my memory now. I'll say it again. He used his 145 IQ to be able to manipulate a psychiatrist into thinking that he was rehabilitated, so they would let him back out into society. I know it was slightly different that time, but it was the same damn thing. Jesus Christ. He used his 145 IQ to be able to manipulate his fucking 125 IQ psychiatrist into thinking that he was rehabilitated, so that he would be able to be let back into society. I'm gonna just let you guess what's wrong with it. Just guess. Just take, pause this video and take however long you need, and just, what is wrong with what he just said? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? The thing that comes to my mind is, I don't give a fuck what your IQ is. I don't give a fuck what you say to me. At all. If you shot your grandparents in the head and didn't care, or just, no, a matter of fact, you weren't even affected by it, but to the point where you're just such a good guy that it's unbelievable. So he's not affected by the murder. It's like, oh, it's like it never happened. It's like, oh, so he doesn't remember it? No, he remembers it. It's like, oh, so he just doesn't care? Yeah, he just doesn't care. Oh, so he's just such a good guy that he doesn't care about the murder. No, but he murdered the people, though. But it's like, so wait a minute. It comes back to, I don't give a fuck what you say to me. Nothing. If you're a psychiatrist, you should get your shit together. If you're the psychiatrist, you should kill yourself. It's like, literally, nothing that he says to you should be able to make you think he's rehabilitated, to where he should go out into society. Everything that he says, including his entire persona, pretending that he's all fucking goody-goody now all of a sudden, A-ball. You should be able to see through that like it's bullshit, because look at it, you know what I mean? It's odd. Oh, Jesus Christ. Usually I really have to point out that it's a facade and it's bullshit. I'll have a stroke right here and now and I'll die. But it's like, what? It's like, so yeah, nothing that he should have ever been able to say would get him out. It doesn't, what does this IQ have to do with it? What does the smarts have anything to do with it? The fucking people, the psychiatrists or the doctors, should be smart enough to know that he is obviously just trying to get out. You know? I shouldn't even point that out. But yeah, it's like, just, next time you ever get arrested, or if you ever get arrested, or just, go outside, punch somebody right now, and go get arrested. And when you get arrested, just talk to the cop and try to convince them to let you go. See how easy it is. See if it's possible. That's what this should be like. This is like he shot his grandparents, the cops came, and he's just like, nah, I'm too good of a guy. They're just like, something about your smile tells me you're right, dude. What? What? It's ridiculous. Because yeah, I could literally write a novel about what is wrong with that sentence. I know I haven't even gotten to the point of it, and I have so much to say about it that it's absolutely just, it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic, because I could actually write a novel about this. But yeah, I don't even, but at the same time, I've said it all. Because he shouldn't be able to say anything that would ever the fucking convince anybody. You know what I mean? Oh, it's because he had 145 IQ. Is that why, though? Or is it because everybody else had a 4 IQ? Maybe that's the real answer. He's like, no, I'm so good, though. I'm such a nice guy. I've made pies for people. I got the door for you earlier. Like, do you want this other half of my brownie? Look at how generous I'm being, bro. Let me out of here. I'm rehabilitated. I killed those people, but that that's in the past. I'm over it. That doesn't matter. Just let me out of here, bro. That I'm good. I'm not gonna kill anybody. Why would I ever want to kill anybody ever again? You just let me go. I'm totally rehabilitated. I swear to God I am. I'm so rehabilitated that I don't even have to say that I'm rehabilitated. I'm just gonna give you this other half of this cookie and I'm gonna smile and I'm gonna be like, hey, look at how big I am. Look at my 4-foot wiener. Because you should just let me out of here. Isn't it time for me to go? I've been doing I've been good for long enough, right? I've had good behavior for long enough, right? Just let me go. It's like, no, you're in here forever because you murdered 2 people. You didn't just kill somebody in cold blood and ruin a life and just shatter and ripple this negative effect of the world. You did it twice in a row, the same day, and you still haven't blinked about it. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's just, how could anything that you would ever say make them think that he's ready to go? You're like, you know what? I know it hasn't even been 10 years, and that he hasn't even really said anything for closure. Because even if he did, it's like, what does that mean? But it's just like, yeah, just let him go. He's served his time, right? 25 to life, or 5 years if you're just really nice to me. I've watched fucking documentaries where the people on death row are sweeter than fucking raspberry fucking pie. They'll be sitting there like, bro, I would never kill anybody ever again. You have no idea what it does to you being in a place like this. And I've been locked away for 30 years. And I did this when I was 12. And I thought about it every single day. And I'm rehabilitated. And there's people that, like, literally, you start crying and you're like, oh my God, you should actually let that guy go. Like, that guy is rehabilitated. Like, they're going to fucking put him he's on death row, and they're going to, like, wait another 5 years and then kill him. Be like, so you are rehabilitated, right? He's like, yeah, no, I'm a totally different person. That was decades ago. They're like, cool, yeah, get in the electric chair. Like, they do that shit. I swear. You know what I mean? Yeah, Google it. Because I swear to God, they'll be like, yeah. You'll see people, they'll be like, yeah, I mean, I barely even remember that day. And I was so young and I've changed so much and so much has happened to me. And I've lived like 5 times longer than I was like alive then. And I was so young. And like, people will give these entire speeches and you'll be like, oh my God, the guy's literally rehabilitated. You could put him into society and I'm actually convinced that he would probably never do anything again. He would just be like, oh my God, freedom. And like want to eat ice cream. And he would jack off and he would like buy porn and he would just drown in the fucking amazingness of his freedom, and he would probably die in like a week. You know what I mean? But it's like, so you see these people and you're like, oh my God, you should let these people out of jail, like not put them in the electric chair in 5 more years when they're even more innocent. But no, this guy, after however many years, it's irrelevant because the time frame's obviously been short enough. It's just like, oh yeah, this guy though, he's totally rehabilitated. It's like, what are you fucking A of all, how do you know his IQ is 140? Go home. That makes no sense. Shut up. And B of all, what does it matter? Are you just saying that he does because you're just like, oh, if they outsmarted the cops, he had to be smart. You sure that they weren't just smoking their own dicks? Or like, I don't fucking... Jesus Christ. Just play this shit again. I'm so over this. Yeah, play the piano about it.
On December 18th, 1969,
Nice.
Edmund's 21st birthday, he was declared a free man, having been released on parole. Contrary to the advice of his
He was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. A lot can happen in 6 years. But he's not a changed man. Matter of fact, he's just now a man. Sort of, barely, maybe. You know what I mean? It's debatable. Everybody comes into manhood at a different time. But yeah, no. Moral of the story, way too early to be released. He served 6 years. They're like, we'll just give him a fifth of a sentence because he's so fucking nice. Remember that? Or remember how nice he was the other day? I mean, not to his grandparents ever, or any of those animals or whatever, but remember he was so nice the other day.
psychiatrists, Edmund was released into the custody of his mother, who at the time was working as an administrative assistant.
Hold up. If I was the mother, think about this. You're picking him up from jail. Oh, hello, son. No, not hello, son. Because remember, he murdered your parents? His grandparents? Why would you want him to move back in with you? Spoiler alert, are you going to die? You know what I mean? You know what? I'm going to say something that's going to make me a dick. These words are going to fly out of my mouth. They're going to solidify. They're going to magically turn into some little fairy that's going to turn right around. She's going to wave her wand. I'm going to turn into a giant penis. And you know, I'm going to say something right now, and it's going to make me a dick. I hope he kills his mother. Please do it. Please do it. Please. Please do it. Because, you don't know why? I know it kind of makes me a sociopath, but please kill his mother. Please. Because just to say fuck you to everybody. Just to say fuck you. Just to give a big fucking, you guys are all fucking dumb. Just a giant fucking, you guys are smoking dick. Oh, please kill her. Oh. Because, of course.
At the University of California, Santa Cruz. One of the requirements for Edmund's parole was that he attend a nearby community college, and he did this wholeheartedly with the hopes that he would one day become a
Community colleges, am I right?
police officer. Sadly, Big Ed's dreams were crushed when he was denied a place on the force on the grounds of his size. It turns out 6 feet 9 inches is where the Santa Cruz police force drew the line back in the day. Since
I just got out of prison. Can I be a police officer? Didn't you kill your grandparents? Yeah, I know. I murdered them in cold blood. And you're out of jail? Yeah. You're too tall, bro. Are you fucking insane? Oh, they're like, no, we don't give a fuck that you murdered your grandparents. I mean, that's actually like, we've all murdered innocent people in this academy, you know what I mean? Like, we all shoot people in the head. Like, we don't give a fuck that you killed your grandparents. But you actually are too tall, though. Life is a fucking joke, dude. This has got to be... Oh my god, was this really someone's life? And this was somebody's terrible life. This was like a horror story. And this is just so... It's got to be a joke. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. This guy is laughing himself from each crime scene. He's like stabbing him. Oh my god, I can't believe that shit. Look at me. I'm sorry. They don't know shit. And then when they do, they don't care. Because of my 4-foot dick. Like, that has to be it, right? Like, he's like, so I just took my 7-foot dick and I shoved it over my shoulder and I was like, you guys are going to let me go. And everybody's crowding around licking his dick. Like, yeah, get out of here, Ed. You're too tall. I don't give a fuck that you shot 2 old people that you were related to and just murdered them. Yeah, no, we don't give a fuck about that. But you're too tall. Shouldn't it be a good thing? Like, no, you just won't fit in the cars, though. I mean, we're actually kind of just doing you a favor, because we'd hire you, and then you'd have a hard time getting in and out of the cars, and you'd go, what the fuck, make a bigger car, but we can't do that, so we're just going to say no. They should have said, no, we don't accept people that, I don't give a fuck, whatever, dude.
Edmund was denied a position on the force. He did the next best thing.
Killed everybody in the world?
Did several Santa Cruz police officers and began to live vicariously through them.
He did what?
When he was denied a place on the force on the grounds of his size. It turns out 6 feet 9 inches is where the Santa Cruz police force drew the line back in the day. Since Edmund was denied a position on the force, he did the next best thing. He befriended several Santa Cruz police officers and began to live vicariously through them. He even went as far as becoming a regular at a bar named...
Which is also not suspicious at all. Just pointing that out.
The Jury Room. That was popular among...
It's a thing that everybody does.
Realizing that his dreams of becoming a policeman would never be actualized...
A policeman.
Edmund set his sights on another...
Does he even really want to be a policeman, or does he just... Oh, like, here's a policeman. Does he really want to be a fucking police officer? Or does he just want to kill people and get away with it more? Or both. I mean, I don't know. It's the same thing.
He began working on one unremarkable menial job after another until finally he landed a job with the State of California Division of Highways.
Oh, perfect. Great. Yeah, now he's sort of an
Fueled
officer
by the
pretty
need
much.
to be as far
Love
away
that.
from his mother as possible.
He just
Edmund
weaseled
saved
his
up
way
what
in.
little money he could, and together he and a friend rented a place in Alameda, California. However, Edmund was unable to keep his head above water for long when it came to his finances, so he was constantly shuffling between his apartment and his mother's house. Ultimately, the two locations
Did his mother,
would
like,
become
hate him for
layers of
killing
his
her
dark,
parents?
twisted activities. After coming into some money in the form of a damage settlement, Edmund purchased a 1969 Ford Galaxy.
Irrelevant.
And one day, while driving along the road, he encountered students of the University of California, Santa Cruz, who were hitchhiking.
There
In the
you
late
go.
1960s and early 1970s, hitchhiking
This is the
was
police's
all the
fault.
rage, and young college women thought
Young
it
college
wise
women,
to
here we
hitch
go.
rides with
About to
random
get-
strangers.
Nope, this
who
is everybody
happened to
else's
be going
fault.
their way. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Exactly. No, yeah, this isn't
After
his
taking
fault.
notice of the hitchhiking scene, Edmund
It's
devised
the people
an
that let the
elaborate
dog
plan.
out of the
One
cage
that
after it's
involved
mauled
him
somebody.
storing up plastic
It's like you had the
bags,
dog in a cage, though.
knives,
You knew it was going to maul people, and
blankets,
you were like,
and
nah.
handcuffs
just let
in
him
his
out.
car while patiently waiting for the right opportunity.
Patiently waiting. He was so
In
patient.
preparation for what was to come, Ed actually picked up roughly 150 hitchhikers before finally deciding that he was prepared enough to make his first move.
How did you know that?
On May 7th,
How do you even find that many fucking
1972,
hitchhikers in your lifetime?
Edmund began his 11-month-long murder spree when he picked up not one, but two Fresno State University students named Mary Ann Pesci and Anita Marie Luchessa. Instead of driving them to their location, Ed took a detour and ended up in a secluded area near Alameda, California. When the girls realized they were in danger, it was too late. Edmund opted to kill them one at a time. First, he handcuffed Anita in the trunk and turned his attention to Mary. He handcuffed her first, and then he went on to strangle and stab her to death. When he was certain the girl had died, he tossed her body in the trunk and repeated the same process on Anita. After brutally killing both women, Edmund drove the corpses to his apartment, where he photographed and took sexual advantage of their bodies, before decapitating and dismembering them. Next, he packed up the body parts into plastic bags, which he later abandoned near the Loma Prieta mountain. But he kept the two heads for a little longer. When the time came for him to dispose of the severed heads, Edmund engaged in more sexual acts with them before tossing them into a ravine.
Man, I gotta get rid of this evidence. But I'm keeping these two heads. Okay, hey, Val. These are my bitches. Okay, those are my fucking heads. Jesus Christ, god damn it. What the fuck? It's like, man, I want to keep fucking these heads, but they get so smelly and weird. It's like, god damn it, I need new heads now. Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
For roughly 3 months, Edmund went on a hiatus. He continued to pick up hitchhikers, however, only to engage them in conversations about the horrible tragedy in order to discover what people thought about him. On September 14th, 1972, Edmund decided that he was ready for his next rodeo. And this time, his victim was a 15-year-old girl named Ida. He decided...
So now, so now he's in the middle of this 10-person murdering spree. How could we have ever seen this coming? You know, what kind of a person just turns sadistic out of nowhere and just starts killing people? I mean, well, he didn't really do it out of nowhere. He'd done it before, and we knew about it. But who just, you know, once they murder somebody, who does it again? You know, who once they murder two people and gets away with it, does it again? You know,
They hitchhiked to her dance class after she missed the bus. Unknown to her, she was making the biggest mistake of her life. After driving to a secluded location...
Talk about the biggest mistake of her life. You know what was a fucking huge fucking oopsie daisy? Was when they... Whoever the fuck was in charge of that. I hope to God that whoever let him out of jail, like knows what they did. I want so badly to whoever, like, signed the document and was like, yeah, let him out of here. I hope that they were like, oh, he killed 10 people. Oh, we should have seen that coming. Oh, he was waving red flags around this place. Oh, yeah, and then he was, like, interviewing. Oh, I should have seen that. Oh, that's my fault. Oh, yeah, he should have. 10 people? Oh. I hope to God that they know that. I fucking want to. Because if they don't, then fuck reality. And there's no such thing as justice. And, you know, it's probably the case because, you know, it's not the movies or whatever, but I so badly just hope that whoever let him out just knows that they fucked up tremendously, because that was the fucking worst decision of their lives. Fucking dumb.
Edmund knocked the teenager unconscious,
Of course he did.
violated her,
Of course.
and then killed her.
Of course.
But he didn't end things there.
Of course.
He threw her body into his trunk, drove home, made sexual advances on the corpse once more before dismembering it and disposing of the remains
Like he does.
in a fashion similar to his previous two victims.
It's his thing.
In
Who
the
would have
months
thought?
to come,
Who would have thought
Edmund
he
would
was going to grow
murder
up to be a
3
monster?
more young women,
Of course he
named
did.
Cindy Shaw, Rosalind Pork, and Alice Butte. For these 3 murders, Edmund's .22 caliber pistol was his weapon of choice. The fact that most of Edmund's victims were young college girls quickly earned him the alias the Coed Killer.
Never
Many
heard
believe
of
that the 8 murders Edmund committed in
I'm
his
just
life
kidding.
were all preparations leading up to the main event, his mother's murder.
Oh, thank God.
As earlier established, the two had quite a toxic relationship, and Edmund had grown to despise his mother deeply. On April 20th,
And shouldn't she hate
1973,
him also,
Edmund
or we
decided
just-
that abandoning Clarnell in a nursing home as she grew older would not be a satisfactory revenge. So he did the unthinkable. He murdered his own mother in her
It's not unthinkable at all.
own home.
Yeah, of course he did, yeah. No, yeah. It's
That
not
day,
unthinkable.
Clarnell returned home.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Get a clue. Jesus Christ. And then he did something totally out of left field that nobody could have ever seen coming, and it was like just totally uncalled for. He did something just super unpredictable, totally fucking unbelievable. He killed his mother. Yeah, thank God he did. You know what I mean? It's just Jesus Christ.
home from a
I'm
party
so sorry.
And after she had gone to bed, Edmund snuck up on her armed with a claw hammer and a penknife. After killing his mother, this
penknife?
not-so-friendly giant severed her head and defiled it
pen
in
he used as a
unthinkable
knife?
ways. When he was done, he set it on a shelf, yelled at the head for quite some time, and then proceeded to use it for target practice. To further exert his sick revenge, Edmund cut out his mother's tongue and threw it in the garbage disposal before going on to hide her body in a closet. To create the perfect cover story, Edmund called his now-deceased mother's best friend, Sarah Taylor, Sally Hallett, and invited her for dinner. When the poor, unsuspecting woman arrived, Edmund pounced on her, strangling her to death, and hid the body in a closet. After this, Edmund took off. He drove non-stop to Colorado. By the time Edmund
Jesus
reached his
Christ.
destination, the police had
He's
still
like,
not caught wind of
boom! He just
From the look of
drove
things,
away.
He was going to
He just drive. I'm gonna drive that way for the rest of my life. He's like, and then I ran that direction for 8 straight days. Just fucking. Sorry, so sorry, but back up a ways though. You know what I mean? Back up like when he was using his mom's head for target practice. Like, cause, did I hear that right?
On April 20th, 1973, Edmund decided that abandoning Clarnell in a nursing home
he
as
did
she
the
grew older
unspeakable,
would return with a
unpredictable
claw
thing.
hammer and a penknife.
Cool.
After killing his mother, this not-so-friendly giant severed her head and
Yeah.
defiled it in unthinkable ways.
So, okay, he did cut his mother's head off and fuck it. Cool, I was just making sure.
When he was done, he set it on a shelf, yelled
When
at
he
the
was done, when he was done defiling his mother's severed head.
head for quite some time, and then
For quite some
proceeded to use it for target practice. To further
That's not
exert
normal part of it.
his sick revenge, Edmund cut out his mother's tongue and threw it in the garbage disposal before going on to hide her body in a closet. To create the perfect cover story, Edmund called his now deceased mother's best friend, Sarah Taylor, Sally Hallett, and invited her for dinner.
Seems a little strange, right? It's like, why would you call her? It's like, yeah, my grandma just doesn't. She wants you over, but she doesn't want to talk to you. It's like, yeah, Ed's the nicest guy in the world. I know that they hate each other, but I'm sure it's normal. And I know that he already killed her parents. But yeah, let's go on over there for dinner, like a normal family. Jesus.
When the poor, unsuspecting woman arrived, Edmund pounced on her, strangling her to death, and hid the body in a closet. After this, Edmund
Like his
took off.
fucking hitman in the
He
video
drove
game or something.
non-stop to Colorado.
And then he drove
By
to
the
Colorado.
time Edmund reached his destination, the police had still not caught wind of what he had done. From the look
Yeah,
of
'cause
things,
nobody's a
he
Mr.
was going to get
Old
away with his actions, but somewhere along the line,
So
he decided to call the police and confess his crimes.
You know, because of his super high IQ. People with that high IQ call the cops
Edmund
on themselves
Kemper
because
III's
they're
detailed
that
confession
fucking smart.
made it mandatory that he face the full wrath of the law.
It's part of the
During
illusion.
his
It's part of
trial,
it. It's
Edmund's
part of it.
lawyer tried to plead not guilty by reason of insanity. Edmund himself attempted to convince the jury that he was insane, but not even his past psychotic diagnosis could save him. With the court psychiatrist declaring him legally sane, Edmund Kemper III, who was
God damn it, no, you can't convince us now that you're insane. God damn it, you are sane, god damn it. I don't care how many people you have to murder, you are sane. You can't convince us that you're insane, god damn it. You can't convince. You are sane. You're a normal, nice guy. Okay, Ed? Just go be a nice guy.
was indicted on 8 counts of first-degree murder, was found guilty on all counts. Despite his request for death by torture, Edmund was given between 7 years to life for each
Despite his request for death by torture. The police missed their one chance they ever had. Because you should have tortured him to death. Or at least gotten somebody that wanted to do it. Like one of his victims' parents or something. I don't know. Just putting it out there. I know it's too late now, but you guys, see, you guys gotta play life like a game. You gotta have a little bit more fun. When you see opportunities like this, you gotta be like, okay, yeah, cool, yeah, he wants it. You know why you should have? Because he probably didn't want it. He probably just said that to be a badass. He's like, no, torture me to death. And he knew that they were gonna say no. Like, no, you lunatic, we're not gonna torture you to death. He just wanted to be like, no, torture me to death. So that they think he's all tough. But you should have done it, because I bet you anything, once you start doing it, he's like, no, I was fucking kidding. God damn it, no, you're not allowed to torture me. Oh, god damn it, no. You know, because nobody likes being tortured. And, because he's not insane. And because, even if people are, they don't like being tortured. Screw his nuts to a table and, beat the fuck out of him with a hammer. I don't care what mental disorder you have. You're not gonna like it. So, you should have done it, because he probably just did that to be a badass, and you should have just flipped it on him. And served it on him, the one chance that you had. Torture me to death. Okay, cool. No, I was kidding. Are you even allowed to? No, but we're gonna. Now that you said that, you gave us the open door. You should have fucking annihilated him. Because, yeah, I bet you anything he wasn't serious. He's just trying to be a hard ass. You should have fucking just... Yeah, see, you guys fucked that one up.
With
Well,
these terms
you
to
did.
be served concurrently, As of now, Edmund, who is now 72 years old, is incarcerated in California Medical Facility and is referred to by many as a model prisoner.
Yeah, he's probably going to be out in 2
He became
years.
the coordinator of the prison's programs.
I bet you
Made
anything.
out a hobby
Oh, I
of
bet you
ceramic-
so much. He's like making ceramic pots and he's like having little parties. And he's going to be out in 3 years. And then I hope that he kills 70 more people. No. I hope that they let him out in 2 years. Like, yeah, he's changed. And then I hope he just goes on the biggest massacre that's ever been recorded. And then the cops just fucking, every single cop in the world just retires. Every private investigator just kills themselves. Everybody in the world just fucking, that's in that field, just gives up. And then we can just, the sun can burn out and we can all just fucking just burn out and fucking all just die.
Cup craftsmanship, and went on to narrate a series of audiobooks for the blind.
Oh, sure he did.
Since his incarceration, Edmund
course
has
he
been
did.
eligible for parole 12 times.
Because he's such a good
and
guy.
He has been denied continuously.
Remember, he is a good guy. Because what did he just do? A of all, he's referred to many as a model citizen. Fuck all those people's families, okay? Giant fuck you to every one of those victims' families. All of those victims can go fuck themselves. He's a model citizen. He is a good guy. Remember?
Prisoner.
Model
He
prisoner.
became the coordinator of the prison's programs.
'Cause he's
Made
such-
out a hobby of ceramic cup craftsmanship, and went on to narrate a series of audiobooks for the blind.
He wanted to narrate a series of audiobooks for the blind because he cares. And because he is a model prisoner and because he's such a good guy. Remember that. It doesn't matter how many people you murder as long as you narrate a series of audiobooks for the blind. Because that negates everything. That will erase every murder that you've ever done. And just being a model prisoner pretty much it forgives him for everything. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's out soon. He deserves to be out.
Since his incarceration, Edmund has been eligible for parole 12 times, and he has been denied continuously. Thanks for tuning in to
That's the
Twisted
only
Minds.
thing that
That
gives
was the
me
case
any
of
hope for
Edmund
humanity.
Kemper III.
Because if
Why
they
don't you
let
go
him
ahead
go
and
again,
click on one of
I
the two
swear
videos
to
on
God,
your screen
I will
for
shit
another
my
one
pants.
of our videos.
I will shit my pants and I will eat the pants, like, with shit on them. You can't even eat pants. You shouldn't eat shit. But I will eat shitty pants. And I don't care if it kills me. I will commit suicide by eating a pair of shitty pants if this motherfucker gets let go again. And you know what? Are they going to let him go just to kill me now? Of course. But whatever, dude. That's, checkmate then. Touche. Fuck me. Cool, yeah. I always set myself open for failure like that. So. Anyways, I'll never get that 18 minutes of my life back. And it was 18 minutes and I stretched it out to an hour and 10 minutes because I couldn't even deal with it. I literally can't even. Jesus Christ. I literally fucking can't. So much to say, but I think I've already said it all. Anyways, wasn't that a fun ride? Yeah, makes me want to go be a serial killer. No, just kidding. But yeah, how come every time I ever do anything, like, the fucking court system serves it on me? And then you hear about people like this that just kill people and they're like, yeah, let him go. Yeah, he'll be eligible for parole another 12 times and he'll probably go. So why is that an option? Hasn't he killed like 10 people? Why is he eligible for anything? Why is that an option? The fact that that's an option makes me want to saw my own balls off. It's like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, the fact that that's an option, there is something wrong with humanity. There is. There's something wrong with the world right there. And that's one of it. That's one of the things that's wrong with just fucking people or the system or I don't fucking know, but that is super off. And it just makes me realize that everything's fucking stupid, so. Awesome. Great. I love that. Thanks. Cool. Anyways.